Oh, hello. Welcome to the craziness of my fun shed, I guess. I don't know how to start off videos. So, hey, I went to one of these things. I go every year, but it's fairly local, it's fairly small, but you can always find something interesting to look at and people to talk to. So, if you're a person like me, go to a Hamfest and see what kind of silliness you can find and swap junk with other people, in a sense. Thought I'd just kind of do a video about the Delaware. I don't even know what it's called. Hang on a second. Okay. It's the Delmarva Amateur Radio and Electronics Expo, or Hamfest. Proudly wearing this since earlier. Here's my haul. Here's what I found. Future projects and things to entertain myself with. Some of which are pretty nice and some of which are just kind of kooky. But that's what you go to those things for. So what did I find? Well, first thing I found was this. It was $20 in a small little box. I looked at it and I went, I think I might know what that is. On the front here, I expected to see a badge I didn't see, but on the bottom of it, you might be able to read that. It says Heathco, Denton Harbor, Michigan. So this is a Heathkit clock, I think. Again, it seems to be missing the badge that I would think would normally be somewhere on here. Got a bunch of switches on the bottom, a couple on the back, and let's see if it works. For $20, I'm not expecting much. What kind of clock is another mystery. That's a good sign. All the elements turn on. 888. What bottle is this? See, time, set. Okay, so time, minutes. There we go. What time is it? So I'll speed this up, and then we'll see if it actually does something. Hours. Okay, so that's doing hours. 5. Okay, it does the time. Oh, it's in 24-hour mode. Guess I could look up how to set this. I would have thought that would have gone to 10. Let's put it up to 9 and see what happens when it rolls over. So let's see what happens when that progresses a minute. Because I would like that to, actually show me minutes too. And in the meantime, I will look up what kind of clock this is. Moment of truth coming up. Please roll over to a 1. It did. Interesting. How do I set it? Okay, this is a Heathkit GC 1005 Panaplex. That's for the display here, from about 1973. So I'm going to have to figure out how this works. I found the instructions. Ooh, it's got an alarm. There's a speaker in here for an alarm, so I could even set an alarm. Let's see if it keeps accurate time. We'll let that sit there while we look at the rest of the stuff I found. Okay, I have a couple tube things to fix, and I have been looking for some tubes. It's an old cassette, no, not cassette, a suitcase record player stereo, and I have been looking for tube replacements for the amp that's in it, and because all the tubes were bad, and I picked up at least one of these. I need to find one more. This is for one channel. If I could have found 2 of these, I might have tried this. This just, I think, for a higher wattage than this one. But I need a pair of at least this or that. This is another tube I need for the same project. So I at least found some of the tubes, and they were very reasonably priced at 50 cents a pop. And lastly, well, not lastly, as you know, I'm a fan of free. Watched any of my other videos, and free this was. Like see, it says free. I like free. It's a resistance and capacitance tester. you can set different resistance scales for, oh, that's for leakage. Oh, it does leakage too. That's the on button as well. Power factor, I have no idea. I'll have to look up some instructions on here. Voltage. It's got an eye tube in it, but the eye tube is kind of far back there, so I don't think it's supposed to be that far into the case. Nice little dial for the leakage stuff. We can set our different scale here. Leakage voltage tests. Again, I'm going to have to learn how this actually works. See, that's like resistance times 1, resistance times 100, resistance times 10,000, 10 meg. Wow. And I'm guessing this is for capacitance. Yeah, CR, capacitance resistance analyzer. I'm guessing this is some sort of voltage scale from like a little to a lot. Probably for like various ranges of voltages like 3, 6, 12, 25, something. Here are my connectors. That one's busted, so I'll have to fix it. Power selector. I have no idea how it works. But again, I like free and I like to fix old free stuff. And I have a feeling this will not work. But just out of kicks and giggles and probably a lack of caution, why don't I see what it does? Should I go into my dim bulb tester? Just make sure you don't touch anything and make sure it's off. And without further ado, absolutely nothing. Not shocked at all. So this is very, very dead. Okay, before risking any sort of catastrophic failure, we will leave it at that. Still going. I have a feeling this was the score of the event. I just started looking up the these clocks. And if you can believe the listings of things online about what the worth of this is, and the fact that it's in 24-hour mode, and it looks like there's a switch to switch it back and forth, I think this is a deal. It's neat and old. I like neat and old. And then strangely, I found these. I have no idea what they are, but I have a box of like 30 of them. There might be more. Some complete with transformers. This one looks like it's gotten into the mud or something. And some pretty impressive transistor cooler radiators. Some with the transistors, some with not. But, you know, when you're presented with a $10 box of like 30 of these, and they've got these capacitors of 2200 microfarads, 35 volts, and some ICs and various other things, transistors and bits and not bubbles that are sometimes hard to come by, I couldn't resist. Some voltage regulators. Somebody had a production line of these, one after another, after another, after another, and I'm going to harvest it for parts, because I've been trying to find this particular capacitance and voltage rating in approximately this size for a lot of things I keep running into, and they're expensive. So if I can get some of these and reform them and check them out and measure them and see if they're okay, I think that's good. Okay, I've figured it out. To set this, you have to hit the minutes and hours button at the same time, and then that advances. So that's how to do that. And now I can set the time appropriately to now, and then we're off to the races. Okay, I can't quite help myself here. I wanted to kind of get in here and see what kind of condition it is, because again, it's a Lafayette Model T E25 that I just picked up at the Hamfest here, and that eye tube usually should sit right flush with this. I've already tried the whole power thing, didn't even see that LED light up for it, so it's not getting power. I have a feeling bad things are happening on the inside here, and I just wanted to take a peek on the inside so I can plan its future and start getting it on the clock, so to speak. See if I can't get in there. Oh, it's a combination of standard screws on the back and some screws here. Lots of them. Here we go. Oh yeah, and this is a signal tracer I've tried to build, making better parts and changes to. Okay, that's another story. Stream of consciousness day is what I'm saying. This will be a blog. Blog? Something. I gotta entertain my 225 viewers. Trying a different angle on life here, just because I thought it could. I take these two out, will the whole thing just slide forward? Let's find out. Not quite the right size blade, but I'm making it work. Strikes me as late 60s, early 70s. Will you just kind of come forward now? Answer is no. So that means probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And hopefully the knobs don't have to come off. Okay. That's been bashed in there, I just realized. Okay. So each one of these has a little rusted washer. That's not good. So that is how you get into it. There we go. Oh, I just realized the cord. I just very nicely wrapped up the cord, and I'm going to have to take that off because it's got to fish through the hole in the back. Complete with moth. Poor guy. Probably been in there a long damn time. Moth. Moth. Moth in corner. A tube. As I said, here is the eye tube. And like I suspected, it's not in the right location. There's a little band here. It's lost its ability to hold. And I think you are supposed to be slid much further forward. That's a problem for another day. Very dusty in here. Not much to it. An array of resistances that I guess is acting as voltage divider of some sort. So on the inside, looks like we've got a range of resistors here, and this switch is just setting different resistance values. Steps it up in like stages of, oh yeah, I can use one of these. Like on here, on a capacitor, it says, you know, maximum voltage 35 volts. So if I wanted to test these on this, if it were fixed, I couldn't go above 35 volts on here, which it would be nice to know what that scale is. Unless it's over here, which doesn't make sense. That just looks like percentage of some sort. This is just a potentiometer. That's a tube of some sort. This is an eye tube. I'd really like to know if it works. And on the underside, good God, look at that thing. Look at that capacitor. Electrolytic. And again, a bunch of resistors, some sort of fancy capacitor. Another fancy capacitor up there. There's really not too much to this. Lots of switching going on here. Why do I think there should be a fuse somewhere? Looks like everything is grounded to the chassis right there. And let's see, this is a non-polarized plug. So yeah, depending on how you plug it in, I'll either have the high end on the chassis or low end. Got to be careful with that. Gotta love old electronics. They're always trying to kill you in some sort of fashion. That capacitor is huge. And it's only 5 microfarads, but it's rated for 700 watts. That's why it's so big. And again, here's the eye tube. This is primarily why I picked it up. I was hoping the eye tube would work. Yeah, you're supposed to go much further forward. And that is some sort of tape. Yeah, you're supposed to fit in there and kind of be out the front. So over time, I have a feeling it sat over time, and as the heat, this just kind of fell backwards. Yeah, you're supposed to come off there. It is what it is. But I wanted to see inside it, just to see what was going on. So possible future video on whatever the heck this is and however it works and what's going on. See if there's any sort of manual out there. There's no fuse anywhere. Nowhere. Okay, here's a bit of a shocking update. Just for kicks and giggles, I decided to plug it in again. And the eye tube works. Why it's working now, I don't know. And it even started getting power. So, yeah. Interesting. There appears to be some life in this yet. I'm afraid to touch it. Because I don't know why it came on and why it didn't. But you can see it's got some life in it. And the eye tube works. So for you know, free, I got a working eye tube at least. And it's completely lit up. So again, you never know what you might find at a Hamfest, one of these things, to distract you for time. Why did you come on? I'm curious. What kind of voltage do I have on the outside? Let's find out. Why would it have come on now and not before? Very confusing. There we go. Yeah, there's 120 volts on the outside of the case. Plugged in that way. So if I plug it in the other way, turn it on. Oh, interesting. Now I know why it didn't turn on before. It's got a bad plug. Okay. So now, if I measure the case and ground, yeah, I don't get any voltage. So yeah, I got to make sure I put a polarized plug on this and ground the case a little better. But at least, 120 volts as long as I keep one hand in my pocket. See if we can get that on the outside here. Let's see. Yeah, pretty much nothing. Now let's turn you off. And then ground. And here. Yep, 120 volts. 120 volts on the outside of the case right now. Be careful with old stuff. Yeah, even with it off, it's still there. Ah! Oh, careful with these old plugs and old metal chassis. I just realized it's completely housed in a metal chassis. Man, old electricians, old electrical equipment. It has fun times associated with it. Okay, we are unplugged, but the tube came on. Be safe out there.